All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Mob Psycho 100, Season 2, Episode 11. Okay.
All right.
So we've got some fights coming up.
Yes, a lot of different fights. Most likely, yeah.
Everyone is spread out. We have the crew in the sewers.
Right.
And they are going to meet up with Shimazaki.
Yes.
Yes, the blind teleporting evil Sasuke.
Right.
And that one will be quite interesting.
And then we've got Sho and Ritsu going through the front door to try and get to Father.
They might encounter Serizawa before they get there.
That is
and
a
it'll be
definite
kind of
possibility.
interesting to see how Serizawa, since he's kind of a pseudo mob in the kind of adult sense, and Jacob and I were talking about this before the thing there.
But Papa looks a lot like Reagan.
Yeah, it's kind of like a dark Reagan mob relationship kind of thing.
Right.
It might be really pointed in that's kind of what they're bringing up.
Maybe
here.
it'll end with Reagan staring him down.
And possibly. That would be really cool. But yes, Sho and Ritsu are squatting up. They're moving in.
Mob is conscious.
What's his name? Big guy Shibata. Yeah, he's been taken down.
Yes.
Thanks to the Body Improvement Club and boy Dimple. We did not give you enough credit last episode.
You were awesome.
Upon rewatching and stuff like that, we noticed that he was actually like really showcasing how much he's learned from Mob with when he took over the leader of the Body Improvement Club's body. And that was just kind of a really cool little call out thing there. We also have the squad that was with a Sho that has been defeated by the plant guy, Minagishi. So Minagishi is now a wild card out there that we have to worry about. But then we have Reagan, who's not even in the fight or anything at this point. So how is he going to make his entrance? How is he going to return back to the fray?
How will he secure the proof that it was indeed arson so that way the insurance people will pay out?
Right. And we also have... I believe we have Teru out there, and he was dealing with the previous group, so it'll be interesting to see where his whole thing comes in. So it's just lots of people, lots of craziness, and I'm sure we're going to get some awesome fights this episode. So without further ado, y'all, let's get into it. Oh yeah, Teru's mopping up these ones, yeah. Oh! Combo attack! Oh, distracted. Nicely done.
Did pretty good.
Yeah. Self-improvement.
That's way better than they were before.
For sure. Well then, there you go. Good job. Oh, nice! Dang! Dang! All right, so let's try using their subtitles. We'll use that. Ready, wake your psyche up, mob. Get ready, dig your anger up, mob. Get ready, wake your psyche up, mob. Get ready. Coming down. Could you feel your satisfaction? You're a mob. Can't you feel your own frustration? Coming down. Could you feel your satisfaction? You're a mob. What do you want to be? Hanzashiku kanjo wa minimoto to break it down. Genkai koe miru kishikai 99.9 99.9 Shotai fume percentage. Could ride my life, could ride my psyche, could ride my heart in such uncommon places. Is that your ideal? Is that your mind? It all begins when it hits 100. The mob is alive, the mob is high, the mob is staying frustrated, aren't you? Is that your ideal? Is that your mind? Nasaku, whoa, your life is your own. Get ready, wake your psyche up, mob. Yeah, get ready, dig your anger up, mob. Get ready, wake your psyche up, mob. Get ready. Makes way more sense for sure. Because that was the one liner where we were like, Dang. Okay, Suzuki. Here we go. Oh. Okay. Well, this OP crazy. Oh, let's tag team him.
Yeah.
I actually think this might actually be okay.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Okay.
Oh, good. Some combos. Here we go. The thing I think that's actually scary about... Yeah. Jeez!
Holy crap.
Well, the thing I think that's most scary about him is the precognition. What are the limits of it? Oh.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Whoa.
Is he gonna suplex him?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, I'm glad we actually get to see him work now. Oh my god, yes. Stealing is a crime. You done goofed. Ow. Whoa. Whoa. What use are you? Whoa. Dang, Mob, you've grown so much. Oh my gosh. Holy
But really,
crap.
you're nothing. Wow.
Oh, that is amazing. Whoa. Just slowly backs away. Oh, okay, good. Now it's a serious fight in some ways. Yeah, just a little bit. Whoa! Oh, this animation is so good.
It's absolutely fantastic. Holy crap.
Pew, 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 pew. Mom just doesn't even care. This is so good.
Man. Oh man.
Devotion. Wow.
Nice.
Yes. Oh, Claw's here. Oh, dang. Whoa. Whoa. Oh. Oh, dang.
Holy crap.
Oh, here we go.
This is amazing.
Whoa.
Bones, what are you even doing?
Careful. Whoa. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, he can teleport.
Yeah. You have to attack where he's going to be.
But there's no way to really know that.
Well, there is ways to guess. Yep. Good. Oh my god! What is this? Oh! Nice! He's back! Oh wait, no! No, he's gonna bring out Mogami! Okay, please don't bring out Mogami! No! Oh crap! Okay, well.
Uh-oh.
Dang it. No! That's Mogami! Oh god! You done goofed! Oh crap!
Holy crap.
Oh crap!
Yeah.
Oh my god! Holy crap! What? Oh, Jacob! Forget Claw! It's all over now!
Wow.
Mob! This is bad. This is really, really bad.
なぜ止める見ていたが生かしておいてもしょうがないクズどもだ。でも変われるかもしれないって約束してくれ。約束する。ほら。まで。
Oh crap! This has turned into like a philosophical battle now.
君らしいな。だけでは解決できないこともある。
Whoa!
時に必要だが誰にも負けない。
Whoa!
影山茂雄君。
He just left.
Hold people accountable. Yeah, that could be one of his final lessons. Wow, Ogami just showed up and it was
right.
like, oh my god, this episode.
Trying to fight him without knowing what he can do?
He's just flexing on him.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Cool. Don't tell him that's your trump card. Rasengan! Basically.
Oh, no way. Serizawa saved him. Wow.
お前は外の世界、私が世界を回ったし、世界征服が現実にできるかどうか見定める。
Oh, okay.
All right.
結果、世界に私より強い能力者、最高の力を持っているのは私だ。
So you being the strongest makes it realistic.
社長、かっけえ。
Wow.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
3ヶ月貯めたと言って、私も同じ。
Oh. And I've been doing it for 20 years.
私はここまで。
Wow.
Holy crap.
10年分、少し見せてやろうか。
Oh, dang, he took his gun. Oh! Oh!
Not-
That makes some sense, actually.
Yeah.
Jeez, bones!
Holy crap.
諦めた。さっきのマンホールは聞いたよ。実はあっちの方に違いない。
So as long as they don't have to move their bodies in order to do it, it can work?
Maybe?
Oh, that was awesome. Oh, crap.
Oh
Wow.
my god!
Bones.
Jeez!
They better not kill Teru.
Well, I think it's just that he's actually treating Teru really seriously. 'Cause
Yeah,
Teru is smart. Oh! Oh!
驚きましたね。世界一の自負がある。中にはいるんだよ。
Yeah! Yeah! That's such a great line while they're in this shot here. Oh! Teru! Oh! Well done! Well done!
Yeah!
Oh! Just chain this off! Yeah!
What, like his focus?
Yeah. Oh, nope, that you're out. You're out. You're done. Oh. Whoa. Oh my god.
Crap.
もうどんな手立ても私には全てが手に取るしてももう遅いですよ。
And then Mob shows up.
どうした？強大なエネルギーを持つ何かが近づいてきていると僕の知人がやっと起きたんだ。影山君。
Oh my god.
果たしてどちらの能力が上か勝負です。正面から迎え撃ってあげましょう。
Ah! Self-defense rush! Oh!
Yes, I love
Yes!
He focused
He was
just
not
on the
looking for-
espers, yeah.
Yes! Yes!
He basically aura'd him.
Right? And he's yelled self-defense just in case.
Yeah.
大先生
Oh!
気配を消せるエスパーが
Oh!
行くべきか師匠その人かなり強いでさっきの少年に得体の知れないエスパー
And this unknown Esper.
Yeah, exactly.
組織でもあるというのかこの少年桁違いだ
I'm sorry, guys. This is
That
just-
was
This is so
wonderful.
perfect.
はい降参しますおえらくあっさりしてるな
But Mob's not going to be satisfied.
Oh, going hard on people. That's right.
私は楽しければなればいいだって
Oh.
人に迷惑をかけたのか
Oh.
避けるな
He just had this moment of like, oh no, yeah, no, no, no.
いやきっとやつ
Yeah, he's
これから生きていくんじゃないかな
just.
大丈夫
Oh.
父さん母さんも
Oh.
安全な場所にいるよ
Oh.
そっかエコロや師匠の言った通りだ合流して突入しようダメだよ
No.
みんな怪我だらけじゃないか僕一人で行くから
Oh.
影山くん何を言ってるんだ
Wow.
僕も行くよ仲間が先にと足手まといなんだごめん
Dang.
人に
Okay.
厳しく
Okay.
Yeah.
言葉を資源をなりに解釈した結果か
エクボ頼むぞ
分かってるよ
Wow. Holy animation. Holy ungodlike animation. That was just nonstop. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
what is there to say? What is there to say about what just happened?
I just have to say, like, I am
Sexually aroused.
I am aroused. Yes, like in some ways I peaked a while ago and I'm still like coming off of it, but it's still like just kind
But
of
that was just
like,
wow.
it's hot in here, y'all.
Wow.
Like, whew, Bones, you gotta
Buy me
take
dinner
me to
first.
dinner before
Yeah,
whew. But you do know how to show a anime fan a good time.
Yeah.
Wow.
I cannot believe that was all one episode.
One episode.
Oh man.
And I'm really impressed at their ability to bring out really powerful character moments that threaten to overrun the plot with like specific things like Mogami.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
Mogami!
Yeah. Yeah.
And yet
Uh-huh.
it was handled so perfectly well with what characterization has been set up for Mob this season. It's so good. Oh, right. There's an end credit scene. There's an end credit scene.
これ以上誰かが傷つけられる方が怖い
Aww.
まあなんとかやってみるよ
うまく取り入ろうってのがしてると大人になっちまう
Yeah.
Good. These two. This is gonna be good. Mob's gonna save him.
お願いだから帰って
Boy.
Bones! Bones! Bones!
I don't even
Bones!
like that.
Oh, like they just went all out, and
Yep,
and,
yep.
and like we've seen them go out even further with the whole Mogami Keiji stuff, and then they
like-
basically were just like, hey, let's tickle their balls a little bit more, and even
Yeah.
bring back Mogami Keiji for a little bit. Like the idea that they used every character in this episode in some way, like every character that was in the overall conflict was brought up, even like
Basically, yeah.
no-name Claw members.
Yep.
And their little moment there was almost like as important as some of the grand like stuff going on with like Sho and Suzuki's, little
Yeah.
conflict showdown there.
So
So yeah.
is this what delaying My Hero Academia season 4 gets us?
I mean,
Because
the whole season of Mob Psycho.
No, I know, but like
has been yeah. Whew. It's apparently there's a specific studio like subsection of Bones that is their like prime
right.
thing there, and they gave that to Mob.
Yeah.
They gave Mob Psycho to that
They
studio.
made some deals with like crazy beings and entities for unbelievable animation powers.
Rewrote causality. And,
Yep, exactly. There were
drills were
eclipses
piercing the
and
heavens
battles and
and-
sacrifices and
Yep.
yeah.
Third impacts and fourth impacts and
Exactly.
all that. It was something spectacular to watch this episode, but I think the really like underrated thing this episode that I think everyone is aware of, really, is just Mob. Mob, this episode, was so good. There were so many moments, and I'm talking about, like, moments that, like I have to go back with a fine-tooth comb and be like, there's so many layers here, or like almost with surgery and like peel it open like very delicately, because there's a lot of subtle things going on here, despite all the just orgasmically beautiful animation.
And here's the thing. If it had been like highlight moments where it's like, and here we're gonna flex, right?
Sure.
That would have been absolutely awesome.
Right.
They didn't do that. Almost like half the damn episode was just Sakaga.
Right. I mean everything with Shimazaki, the OP blind teleporting,
that was
precognitive guy.
Some of the best stuff I've ever seen.
Yeah, and it wasn't just, I would say, the animation. If anything, I think this animation is not as good as, of course, like the Mogami Keiji stuff in the previous bit. That's the highest point so far. What it is really also with this was how they use the camera, basically the directing and stuff, how they showed his movement, and also quickly actually utilizing the teleporting in very creative ways.
Because the thing is, like, because it was so dynamic of a fight. Because, like, okay, you can have awesome animation where there's particle effects and things like that, and there's energy blasts and whatnot, and that can be cool, you know, sure.
Absolutely.
And in the Mogami Keiji thing, Mob was flying around, and it was crazy, and it was wonderful. This, though, this was a whole other level as far as just stuff that's happening.
Moving parts.
Right, moving parts, and the fact that it all makes sense, that there's strategy to it and everything like that. Like, I feel like this is something where you could go through frame by frame and be like, all right, now this thing's happening here and this thing's happening here, but then when you play it in regular time...
Yeah, if anything, I love that in a lot of ways this episode could be boiled down to Shimazaki just kind of flexing on everyone else with his power combination, and just being kind of OP. And I love that that's a thing. They basically were like, we have energy blasts and cosmic level battles and stuff, but let's just have a really busted plot breaking, superpower combination and just run with it. And we know he's gonna lose eventually, but even then, the way that, I know I'm jumping ahead in the episode here, but the fact that he's like, I'm going to focus only on the espers, and then freaking Reagan comes in and just basically orders him, but it's this self-defense rush, which is his basically thing of saying, I don't want any legal ramifications here, so I'm going to yell self-defense, because it was totally self-defense. And it wasn't even that beat him. He gets back up and he's like, oh, I'm defeated, I give up, because maybe this guy's so strong that he can make his presence not be sensed. But then Mob learns like what Mogami Keiji was telling him, and he's like, no, I'm gonna hold you accountable. You ruined so many people's lives just to have fun. And the guy just goes, oh, nope, and he gets nopes out of it so fast.
That was absolutely wonderful.
That was wonderful.
That was so wonderful. But okay.
Oh my gosh.
Here's the other thing, though. Here's the other thing that was just absolutely amazing.
Yes.
So he's voiced by Sasuke.
Yes.
And when he's finally pushed to the limit and he can't go any further, he uses his
eye powers,
red and black eye powers. Because his powers alone of predicting movements and stuff is very Sharingan style. And then he's like, I'm going to have my eye powers get even better. That did my heart good. I don't know whether that was whether when they looked at this character okay, we need to get Sasuke for this, we need to, or whether that was just a happy accident. But oh my god, I'm sure
it's something where there's probably not as much connection in the character's creation to Sasuke.
Not the creation, but the casting.
So it's more of just a studio idea, just to kind of have some fun.
Right.
Because so yeah, why not? But okay. We have everyone going crazy, big fights going on. The Shimazaki versus everyone fights. And there's multiple stages to it.
Poor
was
Teru,
really good.
He was getting the crap beaten out of him. That was basically an execution if Mob hadn't showed up.
I do think, though, that the fact that he was able to beat him at his predicting game eventually was part of the
Teru's thing. Yeah.
Part of Teru's thing specifically with, watching him here, because there was a part, and this is where I think Shimazaki might have wanted to realize this, and this is, or maybe he did realize this is why he specifically went after Teru at that point, was Teru knows, like, Shimazaki talks. He's not in the place where Teru looks. Teru says something out into the space, turns and looks immediately where Shimazaki is. It's almost as if Teru might be like working his way up to being able to use some kind of similar technique in some ways.
Who knows?
I don't think he was even nearly that good.
Okay,
but I think it's a very pointed thing that Teru was the one that started to be able to figure out his movements.
And something that does need to be brought up. Okay. Teru is blonde. And in the first season,
the whole Naruto.
No, not
okay.
Naruto, not Naruto.
Okay.
But his hair is blonde, and in the first season, it was absolutely fabulous and a giant towering mane. Not really mane, but more just tower.
Right.
He's a Super Saiyan. And every time he gets pushed to the point where he's about to die, he grows and he gets stronger.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So that whole everything with Shimazaki, I kind of wanted to get that out of the way quickly because we know it's just so gorgeous, amazing, just good fight stuff.
Like, I want to rewatch that and see exactly how much time was spent on that ridiculous, insane animation.
Now, yes, like it's so good and stuff, but I almost want to spend almost everything else in the conversation
just talking about
Mob.
Yeah.
Because he starts off seeing some, of the espers from Claw, the artificial espers, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna steal from this grocery store. Oh, some kid, what are you doing here? Oh, don't mess with him, you'll traumatize him or something. And they're like, oh, I stole some stuff. And then he's like, wait, Ritsu and I used to shop there. Put that back. That's stealing.
Yep.
That's not cool.
And I loved when he was like, oh, can you just fabricate this can?
Yes.
Like, can you just make plants grow and grow food and stuff like that? You're still just as dependent on everyone else, even with your powers.
Right.
So don't go messing up stuff like this because you need them just as much as you can exert your power over them. You wouldn't be anywhere without them.
Right.
That was awesome. And then and the looks on Mob's face, like throughout this episode, the different looks that he gave, just communicated so much.
Right.
And that's saying something considering how plain a lot of the character designs in Mob Psycho are, especially when it comes to Mob.
Yes.
So that was
And I wanted to bring up something specifically with when he's calling them out. His hair in previous big things where he's gone 100%. Now, he hasn't gone unconscious, but he's gone 100%. He's exploded. He gets this cool...
his hair goes...
Yeah, and everything.
Yeah.
This was Mob, normal hair, going cool with how his intensity is, but he hasn't exploded.
Right, exactly.
I think there's a very important thing to bring up here. Mob has grown so much that he knows what he should hold people accountable for. He is actually getting better at confrontation with confidence.
Yep.
He has standards that he applies to everyone that I'd say are basic standards, but he's also not going to let people abuse their power if he can at the very least convince them of, doing something otherwise than that.
Like trying to convince the plant guy to go straight.
Exactly. So when he ends up talking to them about what they can and can't do, basically, there are things out there that people can do that you guys can't.
Right.
You couldn't produce this food. You couldn't do all this stuff here.
You couldn't fix that shop. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe if they worked at it with their psychic powers, they could do a lot of those things. But the thing is, they don't focus on that. They abuse their powers specifically to manipulate and control people that can do those things. He's basically showing them, hey, you guys realize you're not all powerful, right? He's basically disassembling this whole idea of them controlling the world and everything. Like it's something that I think is really funny that Suzuki, the leader of Show's dad, talking about, well, I am the strongest psychic in the world. I'm like,
the world.
So it's like, he's like wondering whether it was realistic for him to conquer the world. I'm thinking, oh, right. So he's thinking about the geopolitical and socioeconomic infrastructure and all that kind of stuff.
Right, of whether people will follow him if he...
No, he's not talking about that. He's just talking about power levels.
Right.
Now, he could be subconsciously saying that, but the fact that he didn't say that is also kind of showing that he hasn't thought about this from the perspective of yes, you might end up being a god. You might end up having the energy to rule as a god of this earth for maybe the next 5 years.
Right.
Maybe the next 10 years. But
Yeah.
what? What are you going to do then? All these people, all these, people that supply the, things of the world and stuff, they're just going to go on living their lives. What are you going to do? Like go in
Right, exactly.
I'm going to teleport to their location and demonstrate my power to make everyone fear me and stuff. And then he's going to be relying on other people in order to make sure to...
Well, and the thing that that Teru said to Shimazaki
Yes.
was absolutely wonderful of, oh no, there's powers out there that you cannot comprehend. Like
You're just a regular human or regular man or something, and even I can beat you.
Yeah.
And right when he did that, Ritsu chucked the little rock like right at his, I think it was his chin or something, and he's just like, ooh! And like, oh,
For
he's
that
interrupted for like half a second.
Right,
In
right.
that second, we chain stun.
Yeah.
I love that. Yes, that was amazing.
That was wonderful.
So back to Mob's little like tirade, like kind of confrontation with them.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that he's then also displaying his power. He is, in a lot of ways, I would say, using his power on them by just basically letting them know, you need to respect my opinion, who I am, not because I'm going to hurt you, but because if you respect strength, if you respect that stuff, I'm just going to flex a little bit, and you're going to realize, oh, I'm not going to hurt you, but I could. I really could do a lot here.
One of my favorite lines
that was amazing.
from Mob in that moment that was just chilling and awesome all at the same time was when he was like, you didn't, like, you shouldn't use your powers on other people.
Right.
And apparently you didn't have anyone to teach you that. So I will.
Yes.
And it's just like,
it's
boy.
It's so wonderful.
And then Plant Guy shows up and it's like, okay, and then awesome animation.
Yeah.
And then freaking Mogami Keiji gets released.
Matsuo, I believe, the guy that was collecting all the spirits and stuff, he comes back to help. And I'm like, awesome, everyone from Claw.
Yeah.
And then almost immediately when he comes back, I'm like, oh crap, wait, Mogami Keiji is somewhere. And I'm like thinking, okay, he didn't release him, that's good. And then it's just like, what is this little thing? And we're like, no! No!
I loved the effect of how they did it too, because the thing is, it wasn't that instantly Mogami Keiji was this giant monster thing, right? It was that they throw it down on the ground, and then suddenly they all just fall over. They all just drop, right? No special effects for it at this point or anything.
Little smoke.
Little smoke. But that's it.
That's it.
Right? And then it's just like, everyone's just like, uh-oh. Like, what did you do?
Matsuo's like, no, I couldn't even control him. Like,
And then there's all the vines, and then they don't serve you anymore.
No, they do
and then
not.
And the Plant Guy's just like, this isn't good.
I like how they cleverly and efficiently used the Ultimate Five in this episode to serve specific purposes with regards to, I would say, conversations.
Yes.
Now, this first one with Minagishi, I've got a very helpful list of all the names here if you're wondering how we can remember this.
Yes, Minagishi.
Yeah. He was a good backdrop for the whole idea of using power on others for the purpose of making the world kind of a cleaner place. Basically, are there people that do bad enough things that they deserve basically no mercy? They basically deserve only judgment by the strong.
Sure.
And Mob basically says we should give them a choice.
Right.
We should give them at least one choice because you never know.
Yeah.
And they did that twice this episode. We'll come back to the second one. But the first one here, I like how it's not so clear cut, because he probably was doing that primarily just because he's scared. He's like, I'm about to die. No one wants to die.
Anyone would say that, and then the question is, afterwards, will they actually follow through?
Right. The idea, can people change? But Mogami kind of already has the answer in some ways right here. Because you think about what happened with Mogami. Mob defeated him.
Yeah.
Like Mob defeated him. the fact that maybe Mogami more respects Mob's strength in that regard, so kind of also says, okay, well, your kindness is something that it's as expected of you, but you need to also balance that with being hard on people when you need to.
Right.
And I like how that's something that it's like, oh, that's a perfect next lesson for Mob. It's something that he kind of has already been learning with Reagan. And it's like perfect. Hearing it from your enemies.
Right. And the idea that Mogami was probably doing it in some ways to try and like, it feels like kind of like Palpatine, whispering in your ear,
Just a
did
little
you ever
bit.
hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis?
Sure.
But the thing is, Mob realizes that there is some wisdom in there,
Yes.
even if it's been twisted.
Right.
And then he unravels it, and he's like, no, I can't apply this. I just want to apply it in the same way that they did.
Right.
Because with someone like Mogami KG, and a lot of times, like, the good villains in stories, it's not that they're just completely whack crazy, because then how can you identify with that?
Right.
It's that they took something too far.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And that's where they go wrong.
Yep.
And I love how they handle that in Mob Psycho, and how they have Mob have the discernment and the judgment to be able to see that and see, okay, but how am I going to do things?
Right, because Mob's kindness was the same thing that kept him from feeling anything negative towards the rich guy's daughter who's being possessed by Mogami Keiji, for one, but also for not actually destroying Mogami in a lot of ways. I think that might also be tied to the fact that Mob wasn't fully in control at that point.
Possibly.
He was he was multiple question mark percentage just crazy and all that. But I think it's important that Mogami responded to Mob's kindness. It was Mob's kindness that kept him from flattening the synthetic, espers.
Right.
It was Mob's kindness specifically that in a lot of ways had him forgive Reagan so easily. It was Mob's kindness that, led him to being such a I would say such a reserved person when it comes to using his powers. And there were people in his life that showed him what that meant and stuff. And in a lot of ways, I think the scene played out like the lesson that was being taught, because Mogami basically was like, oh, yeah, Shigeo, Mob, you're right. Like, I'm basically about to do that same thing there. I've labeled all these humans as being basically waste, they're useless. Like, oh, you just have me come up
and then they had him just leave, which is
intriguing.
Because that could mean that Mob's words reached him. Or it could mean that he's just like, I don't want to deal with this right now. I'll, whatever. I'll go somewhere else and gather power, right?
And that's wonderful.
It's completely up to the audience's imagination.
Until they decide to bring him back.
Right.
But the cool thing is they do that exact same thing with Shimazaki.
Yep.
Now, the thing is that Shimazaki left more out of fear and terror.
Yeah.
So odds are he's either...
It was a very simple, reasoning as for why.
Right. Now, the thing is he could have a very clear Teru-like response. Teru was traumatized by the whole fight with Mob and everything.
Yep.
He's spoken about it. And it was quite funny when he talked about how it just broke him.
Yeah. Made him rethink his life choices.
But that's the point, though. In the same way is that Minagishi was taken by Mogami Keiji. The scare of that whole thing, the craziness of all that, dealing with things and realizing that you need to value your choices and the consequence of those choices a lot more, may make him think about that and go,
yeah,
I might need to reset my life. Because when people hit really low points, they're open to the greatest change. And I'm just saying, when you get to a point like that where you nearly die, it can make you think.
Especially when you think that you're above death, basically.
Yes. Going from high to super low that fast can do a lot of damage. The bigger they are,
the harder they fall. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was all amazing.
Yeah.
And then we got the thing with Sho and Suzuki, which was more of a plot-related thing, less than kind of a theme thing.
But it was good to see that Sho basically really did have a problem with his dad. It wasn't just something of I want to take over Claws, or something like that. Like he really did seem to have an issue with his dad, and I never should have let it get to this point. I should have stopped him earlier and whatnot. And then, of course, it was a great way to basically exposit the powers of the main bad guy. And then also set up the whole thing with Serizawa.
Yes. Yes.
which is
very interesting. I'm telling y'all, the way that they're handling the Ultimate 5 so far, by having it be with Mob in conjunction with other people.
Right, it's they're basically using them as ways to develop the other characters.
Yes.
And throw some awesome animation in there while they're at it.
Yeah, for sure.
But they don't have it take too long, and they really use it to show what these characters are capable of and who they are as people and how they've grown.
Yes.
And the fact that we're going to have Mob face off against Serizawa before going to Suzuki, that will be very interesting because they both have very similar situations with their masters.
Right.
Or they did.
Right. So we have Mob, who, for all intensive purposes, he's at the top of his game right now.
Yeah.
He is not...
Just a bit.
He is not letting his emotions go out of control. He is absolutely just laying waste verbally and psychically to any obstacle in his path. It's absolutely
wonderful
beautiful.
to watch.
It's so wonderful to watch. Absolutely. We even have Reagan coming in here, and Mob gave that just brilliant little talk of being like, guys, I really care about you, and it hurts me to see you get hurt. So I'm going to be hard on you and say, no, you're not going to help here. You're just going to get in my way. And I love that Mob can say that confidently because it's true.
Right.
It's true. It's one of the jokes, I would say, of this show and One Punch Man. But One Punch Man's never, at least in the first season, never got into stuff like this, where it's just like, no, really. The reason why I'm telling you all to move out of the way isn't some anime cliche because I'm the protagonist.
Even though it is a cliche.
It totally is.
But it works here so well beyond what it normally serves, you know.
Because Mob wouldn't have done that in the past.
Exactly,
He does it now. Everyone respects the decision immediately. There's no dumb, stuff that go like, oh, obviously, we can do it.
And the thing is, one of the things that I think makes this way more powerful is that there are things that scare Mob. Really scare him.
Absolutely.
Not just on a personal level, but also from the idea of his powers. Like, when he says, that basically, you guys aren't gods. Like, there are things that you can't do.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, that those words carry more weight because he realizes in and of himself that he has his own limits, too.
Yep.
He saw them with Mogami Keiji. When Mogami Keiji was released, Mob was terrified.
And he had to go do things.
He basically stood up to him, right? And now he's going to some other unknown, right? Yep. And who knows if he'll actually be able to beat Suzuki?
Yep.
Like who knows?
Who knows?
20 years, I don't know what that would do. Now it does mean he has a limited supply of resources, so the more you can fight him, the better. But who knows? And he's still going by himself. No one to offer emotional support or anything like that, although Dimple is there with him. I
have to say, though, it is big that Dimple is going.
Yeah, because Dimple could easily just
poofed out of existence.
Yep.
If he's not careful.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did that either.
Yeah. Here's something I want to preface with Dimple really quick. There has been this, I would say, and a couple people have called me out on it specifically. I don't have as much of appreciation for Dimple as most people. I would
say that's completely understandable.
Yeah, the reason why is there's kind of been this running underlying plot line where he is trying to use Mob for his own gain.
Right.
And that hasn't changed.
And while he hasn't really tried to use Mob, any time recently, really.
I think the thing is that he has made very subtle efforts. None of them have profited him anything. I think if anything, it's just kept him close to Mob and maybe upped Mob's opinion of Dimple. But the line he said at the end here where he said, wow, I have been trying to use Mob for my own means as a kid, but he's just going to grow up to be an adult before I can even do anything. I think in some ways Dimple is laughing at himself there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I think he's realizing how much of a joke it's been for him to try and do this. Because in a lot of ways, that's why I think I don't like him as much, was because he thought he could do that all this time. I was like, yeah, sure, buddy, whatever you say.
Oh, okay.
If anything, that's just going to make you kind of a joke character.
Well, or it seems like it would make him end up just being a dick because
the ways
the ways that he would control Mob kind of would be emotionally, not through actual powers.
Right.
And we don't want that.
No, we don't want that. But what we've seen more recently has been something where he's just kind of having to step back and go, wow,
Yeah.
look at this guy go.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
who is this kid?
Oh, yeah.
And I appreciate that because it's I would say the last bastion maybe of people misrepresenting Mob in their minds and not seeing him for who he is and for how much strength he really has and for also how much he has worked hard to improve himself. And in this episode there were multiple characters that talked and showed in a lot of ways how much they have improved themselves because they've worked hard at it.
Well, and also shout out to Ritsu.
Yes.
With the whole thing, like, I know that's going back to the very beginning of the episode, but his whole thing of realizing, no, it wasn't the psychic powers I wanted.
Yeah.
It was the single-minded drive to go after something wholeheartedly.
Yep.
It's like, wow, that's
good.
That's good. That's the good stuff
That's
right
the good
there.
stuff, right?
Yeah. And, yep.
Wonderful.
So now there's another episode, maybe two. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there will probably be 2 episodes.
I don't think they could contain everything. I mean, they did so much in this episode.
They did a lot,
but I
in this
don't think they
episode.
could contain a recap kind of calm down episode,
Right,
or a calm down segment of the story.
While having the 2 fights left that need to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, at least. Wait, 2 fights.
Well, because there's Serizawa.
Oh, Serizawa.
And Suzuki.
I gotta say, having
I'm so looking forward to
Serizawa
that.
be the one that
man.
encounters Mob on the stairs here, I think is important. Here's the thing. Serizawa, the second he was introduced in the story, they immediately showcased how similar he was to Mob here.
Oh, yeah.
And you bringing up earlier, before we even recorded, the idea of the relationship between him and Suzuki being kind of a dark Reagan Mob kind of situation.
Even
It's
down
more
to
like
the
an adult.
Even down to the look of Suzuki. Like, it's very similar to Reagan's design.
And Serizawa has the similar kind of bland eyes and things like that. So I'm telling you, this is going to be something where Mob will be, in some ways, the Reagan that Serizawa never had in this thing here. Because Serizawa doesn't want to hurt people. He's a good boy. You can see it. He if anything, he craves affirmation, and probably a belonging, a sense of belonging,
and he adores Suzuki a bit much.
I think that primarily though is because he's the main source of affirmation, and sense of belonging.
That could totally be it. And the thing is, it wasn't just that he didn't want to hurt people.
Right.
It's that he's like, no, you're a kid. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's not do this. Like, let's not do this. And that means we could have a battle of conversation. And like, oh man.
And I would almost want that to have a good chunk of time in that. And also, another weird way, I think that's where actually Dimple can shine. Here's the thing. They've been doing this thing of having one character move on while they kind of, have someone pass up and stuff like that. I think in a lot of ways, Dimple can be that third party that just kind of echoes what Mob says from a unique perspective, and it's like, hey, like I would know what you're dealing with here, Serizawa. Like I have been in some ways in a position like Suzuki is here, but he's done things like this, right? He's said things like this to you. Like has he ever? And then he's gonna be like, has he ever done this? If anything, I think it's gonna be Kageyama's simplicity that will get through to him, but I think it's going to be the verbiage maybe of Dimple that will break through and will trigger like that specific bit of doubt in his unwavering faith in Suzuki.
You know what I would love to see is just like a little headcanon.
What's that?
Is Mob and Serizawa talk.
Yeah.
Right? And Mob is able to reach him and all that stuff. And basically Serizawa ends up being like, oh, dang. Like he has a realization, a crisis of faith, a point where he decides to take another look at his life.
Sure.
And then Mob goes on ahead.
Yeah.
And Serizawa just sits on the steps, and then Dimple sort of floats up next to him,
like above the
shoulder.
Yeah,
exactly. And they talk.
They talk. Yeah.
And maybe he kind of talks about Mob, because Mob's like, I have to go stop this guy, and he's like, that kid, he's really something. And Dimple's just like, yeah. Yeah, he really is.
Yeah, I think that will solidify. I think that will solidify for me how much I'm going to end up loving Dimple. The thing is that it was kind of necessary that people in my Discord or the Discord and stuff kind of be like, hey, what's with your deal of not really giving Dimple any love? And I realized a lot of it is how much they kind of make it as, I would say, what they've now made it more clear that it is a joke. That he is like, I'm going to try and use Mob.
Right.
And it's like...
And he doesn't even believe it anymore.
And I don't think he even believes it anymore.
And that was kind of the point where he realized it, you know. And that's... I feel like even if people hadn't let us know about that, we would have been able to see that moment and, you know, realize it for what it was.
For sure.
Because the stuff that was building up to this point, it was more like foreshadowing, I feel like, than like really solid development.
Sure.
So that way when this point happens, it makes sense for Dimple, you know? It didn't feel like it came out of nowhere.
Because Dimple hasn't gotten like hardcore character focus in forever.
Not really. And even if he has focus, you know, because he's like in the like on screen or whatever, it's not like hardcore development necessarily.
Yeah, it's more like commentary that could lead to interpreted characterization.
Yeah, it's more like that he's just not doing a lot of the stuff that he used to do, rather than actively doing stuff that's different. Although he did, you know, he does a lot of good stuff, but you know, then there's the whole thing of why and you know all that. But,
so we now have Sho and Suzuki left in a bit of a...
Yeah, we're not
not
sure.
exactly sure how that was resolved, but here's a big thing that was brought up. The idea of reserving energy. And I gotta say...
That's
the
some
whole
Mistborn stuff right there.
Well, yes, but I also think about it as we are going to go defeat Father, who has reserved a whole bunch of energy.
Yep. Yeah.
You know...
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Like, and the whole thing of like, you stored it for 3 months, 20 years. Psh, get on my level. It's like it's good, and they did a good job of making that intimidating. At the same time, I'm like, yeah, ha ha ha. You know, it's kind of laughable. Like, okay, cool. You know, all right, you've got lots of power. We have a way to basically put into question if Mob will actually be able to beat you.
Yep, and it's basically just how long are you going to last?
Right, because that's the problem with something
that's
like
what she said.
With the whole concept of like storing up power for 20 years, great.
Yeah.
So you've got one really awesome fight that you can automatically win. What happens if you need 2? What happens if you need 3?
See, that's the thing. He doesn't know if there's anyone out there that's as strong as him.
Right.
And in a lot of ways, Jacob, I think it would be cool with Mob's development in this season to showcase that Mob doesn't need to overpower him necessarily to beat him. If anything, I think it would be cool to have him go through like 10 years of his energy. And Mob will be like, and he'll be like, huh. And then he'll like have some like perfect understanding of actually how much energy he has. And he goes, you realize I still have 10 more years worth of energy stored up. And Mob's like, yeah, I can keep fighting you, but I don't want to hurt you. It's like, why do you care about me? What?
Sure.
And it just the whole idea of him actually being cared for by this kid, it just seems so like foreign to him.
Yeah.
Or I would love him to actually question that and Mob be able to say something profound that makes him go, what a waste, kid. And then Mob's like, is it really a waste? Like,
sure.
And then he talks about all these people out there. And it's not just power of Nakama or anything like that, but
although, you know, they could totally do that.
They could do a cool spin on that. And
yeah. One of the things though that I would find very interesting though is that since his whole premise for why he's like, I can take over the world because I'm the strongest. There's no one stronger than me. Right? Is it that no one's stronger than you with your 20 years of like saving up? Or is it that like one of your days is better than anyone else's one day? Like if it got to the point, you know, in the theoretical sense, and I know this is just a BS, like, you know, power measurement, whatever.
Right.
But let's say Mob did burn through 10 years of it. It's like, cool. So you're the strongest Esper in the world. And you were able to beat this Esper. 10 years of your life was able to beat him for one day.
Right. What I think it is that he waited 20 years because he wanted to be 100% sure that no matter who was out there, how strong they were, even on his bad day, he would absolutely wipe the floor with them. And I think also what it might be, and this is kind of some dumb doomsday kind of theory here, is that he could potentially have that planet destroying level energy, where he just basically says, like, you know, I can raise this planet to the ground with the energy I have.
And Mob's like, okay, let's take this to space. You know, let's fight on the moon. Actually, no, the moon's too close. Moon's too close.
Yeah,
you know?
you don't want to
get your buddy to teleport us like way far away. You know, out into like the Andromeda galaxy.
I don't know if Mob or him could survive without oxygen, but
psychic powers. They take a bubble with them.
Sure.
Mob fabricates oxygen out of nothing. You know, who knows?
I'm really excited for the spectacle that's to come, obviously, because they would not completely subvert expectations to the point of having no fight. But I would really also like to see a good conversation.
Exactly.
And that would be something special. So, y'all, I am looking forward to Serizawa and Mob talking with Dimple. I am looking forward to everything coming up here. I cannot stress enough how gorgeous and how wonderfully just orgasmically enjoyable this episode was.
I'm looking forward to Studio Bones having some time off, because they deserve it after this. Like,
I mean,
pop the champagne and like
one season, and then it goes straight into MHA season 4, right? Just summer, right?
Was it summer or was it pushed back further?
I think it's because Mob technically started in the winter.
Right, I thought.
Okay, no. MHA starts in October.
Right, yeah, October.
So that's 2 seasons of anime.
Right. And now, granted, probably at least one season, or probably both. I mean, they probably won't really take much of a break. It'll just be like, we have more time to work on this, and that's great.
Right.
But yeah, because this episode, wow.
Like,
I don't how much did this cost? Like, how? Like. What
when did they start working on this episode?
Yeah, like what,
5 months ago?
What
10 months
what
ago?
What is in their water like that makes them able to do something like this? Like, it's absolutely
they've been at this
ridiculous.
For a long time, Jake.
Yeah.
You know why they're called Studio Bones, right? Because they worked them to the bone.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I was gonna say something about animation orgy or something, but
sure, that works too. Yeah, everyone's anyway, y'all, thank you so much for watching this reaction and discussion. This has been so much fun. I hope we didn't miss anything huge. I think there were a couple things with Mob and Shimazaki which were cool, but we kind of just lightly touched upon those, and they were really special. But I just gotta say, Mob, you were the MVP this episode in every sense of the word.
And then and the lyrics for the opening make way more sense now.
Yes, we have been kind of ignoring them because we were like, but these were the ones we got early. But
exactly.
I guess they were very poorly interpreted. Way off. So y'all, if you want to see full-length reactions to Mob Psycho, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an not early access there. Sorry guys, I'm just crazy episode.
His mind's just melted by the amazingness of the animation.
But if you also want to get into any of the discussion with this on our private Discord, also any level of support, Patreon gets you access to that as well, where you can chat with us about the episodes, Mob Psycho as they come out, stories or shows we're doing other reactions, or just
stuff,
whatever. Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.